So my name is Kyron Hodby. I work for U.S. Cellular as a maintenance technician. My job title or my job really includes visiting every cell site within my region. So I live in the New England region, which means I visit 635 of the U.S. cell sites once a year. I make sure that the inventory, that we say, the stuff that we say is at the site is at the site. I make sure that the filters and everything are cleaned out so that the radio equipment is working properly. I check alarms to make sure that the alarms get processed through our knock center correctly. So I test those alarms, and I also test the generators at the sites to make sure that the generators are working properly in case there's power outages, and the generators can kick on. So I make sure all that's accounted for and working properly. And then after that, go on to my next site. All of my training for me personally has been on the job training. I really started my work career off as a juvenile correctional officer for the state of Massachusetts for 9 years. So I've always worked with kids. I was a Big Brother in the Big Brother program in Massachusetts for like 8 years. So kids have always been my thing, and so the juvenile system was something I really liked working in. But it didn't pay. When I was offered an opportunity by a family friend who owned a telecommunications company, he was like, "Hey, would you like to make more money and learn a new skill?" And I didn't think I had that skill because I had failed small engine repair in high school. So I thought for sure I wasn't going to do this well, but I took a chance at it, and that was in 2004. I worked as a contractor traveling across the U.S., installing equipment in other people's cell sites. So I learned a lot along the way. I had some great teachers and did a lot of courses and a lot of books I read on my own. And I showed like I had the aptitude for it. And then when U.S. Cellular came around and was hiring, I thought, maybe I could take my skills to another level. So I applied for U.S. Cellular as a network field engineer at the time, and I got the job. And I did that for the network field engineer position for 12 years. And then the last 3 years, I've been a maintenance technician. I believe in trade school. I really do. I think kids going to trade schools and focusing on that one particular thing that they want to do is so valuable in terms of getting them into the workforce and being successful in a career at a young age. As you get older, you learn so much more. Network with people is a huge thing. The more networking, the more contacts with people that you can make will help you further along in your career, because those are people you can lean on in times where you're not so sure that you know exactly what you're doing. And then also jobs happen. That's what happened for me. I actually the guy who I trained as a contractor got a job with US Cellular, and then 4 years down the road, he was like, "Hey, there's a position open. I can get you in here." And so, it's, you keep those contacts, you keep those friendships, you learn from them whatever you can, and you share that knowledge as well. I get to go to a new place every day. So like for my position, like I said, I visit every cell site once a year. So every day I'm somewhere different. So the most interesting thing that I've gotten to do, I will say, or more precarious position I was in was I was doing a site on the top of a ski resort in Vermont, and it was I was coming home from a road trip, and I was like, "Oh, I'll get this one site done," and it happened to be on the tail or at the head of a hurricane that was coming. So I thought I could get up there real quick while it was just raining, and do some work and then get down. And so I ended up my truck ended up sliding down a trail, and I ended up having to winch myself back up the trail. It was a great experience. I loved it. It was thrilling. Like I wasn't in any particular danger, but it was fun. You know what I mean? Like that stuff I love. I love. Hey, how am I going to do this? You know, thinking how am I going to get this truck back up this hill because I can't just drive it up there. For me, the day starts off at we work 10-hour days, 4 10-hour days. So I'll get up around like 5:15 in the morning because I like to get out by 6 o'clock and get home by 5. So I typically get up in the morning. I look and see what the weather's going to be like and decide, okay, well, you know, what sites do I have to visit? You know, maybe I'll do some outdoor sites. You know, if it's going to be sunny outside, figure out which sites I'm going to hit. You know, I plan on hitting, and then I go into my truck, make sure that I have all my supplies, that drive off to where I'm going to go, put in my GPS, and once I get to the site, you know, unload, start doing my work, which, you know, testing batteries, checking for making sure all the equipment's there, the inventory stuff, you know, do my work. As far as lunches are concerned, whew, it's on the go. So, so you can, and don't get me wrong, if I find myself getting ahead of work, because like I said, I pace myself. I know, like if I plan for 4 sites for the day, I can do 3 sites if I want to because I can make it up on another time because I make sure I know how many sites I need to get done by a certain time of the year. Like for my job, we have to be done by December 15th. It's just a financial obligation that we have to have all of our inventory checks done by that time of year. So if it's a day where, hey, you know, I'm doing pretty good, or I feel like, you know what, I could spare a day and I'm on top of a mountain, then I'll pull out the lunch, kick back and you know, just, you know, survey the land and enjoy it, you know, enjoy nature. That's a tough question. I'm really, because I'm really personable, so which is weird because this job I'm by myself. You know, I'm by myself in my truck. I'm driving to sites by myself, but I do come across people. I'm a people person. I love joking around. So, but I also love teaching people about what I do. Even, you know, sometimes maybe they don't want to hear it, but I love doing it. You know, I love talking about what I do. You want to learn about how things work in the cellular industry, like you know, because especially if you want to further your career into a network field engineer, and then the electrical aspect of just learning, you know, something about electrical, because you're going to be around electrical stuff as soon as you open the door. For what I do, they ask that people have some schooling, you know, or some military background, which is a huge thing. You know, military. There's so many guys who have gone through the military that learn this type of field in the military. So there's you know, they look for military background, they look for some schooling. So if you get that knowledge base, right, because that's what I was getting at. You know, you have that knowledge base, you know, obviously you're going to enter at a higher rate, you know, than someone like myself who, you know, didn't have that stuff, right? So but starting salary for my job is 52,000 a year. I've always liked working with kids. I mean, like I said, I was a big brother at 18. I loved taking time out and, you know, going to see a kid do practice or helping a kid with some homework. You know, so one of my friends got me into thinking about juvenile corrections, because it was a way to help kids. You know, that's how I viewed it. And the position I took in juvenile corrections, it was working with counseling with kids as well. So it was right before they get released. It wasn't more so just lock them in and leave them alone. You know, it was counseling. You know, we had classes, so it was right before kids were getting to be able to go back out into society. But after time, it started to wane on me a little bit because the recidivism rate, like kids coming back, got really high. You work with kids for 6 months or a year while they're in there, and you start to learn a lot about them. You're advocate for them within the facility, and when they leave, you always ask. You know, I ask some of the counselors, "Hey, how are they doing?" And then you hear, you know, you get bad reports about kids, and you know, sort of eats at you after time. So, I mean, I was really at 9 years. I was really like not I still love what I was doing, but I felt, am I doing enough? At that time, that's when I was presented with the opportunity to get into the cellular industry, and I you know I wasn't sure it was something I could do. Like I said, I had never done it before. Not It was never on my radar, but it sounded interesting and it sounded new. And once I started it, I felt like a new life. I mean, at the time I was 34 years old. I'm like, I'm starting a new career. I'm still young, but I this is making my brain work. It's making me think outside of boxes for things and troubleshooting and stuff. So the passion grew on me to want to learn more. That was really the thing for me that kept me wanting to do this job was there was so much knowledge that I could gain from this job on a daily basis. I wish I had known that I had the aptitude to learn this type of like I wasn't good at math. I didn't think I had this skill. So like I wish I had known it in when I was younger, because then it would have given me more time to prep for this career path. Like I wouldn't have had the 9 years in juvenile corrections. It would have been 9 years doing this type of work. Um, but I wouldn't take it away, because it's got me to where I am now. Like I'm happy with my position that I'm at right now. So I would never I would the experiences that I had in life, I wouldn't want to lose those at all. I mean, every single one of them has gotten me to the position I'm at. Yeah, so for sure, I'd like to share a story that this job has actually gotten me the ability to be on Undercover Boss, which was crazy. It was a crazy experience, life changing experience for me. I would have never thought in a million years that they would have had me be on that show, but it was incredible. Like just it gave me the ability to share my life and my story, and let people see it and hear it. Let people know that I have 7 kids, that I have foster kids, So it just lets because I'm not always telling people that, and but for people to hear it and people to give me that love back was incredible. So yeah, I wouldn't change that for the world. I want to get it right. I want to say it's season 11, episode 6. It's USA. You can Google it, US Sailor, Undercover Boss, and yeah, man, it was. They did me really good.